A massive thank you to Daniel, Eddie, Aaron, Frosty and Timely Badger for subscribing to the channel. If you're already featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 12 of our F1 22 My Team Career Mode. Yesterday we returned, of course. If you missed out on the last video that went live yesterday, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out from the Austrian Grand Prix. It was an absolute roller coaster of emotions from Spielberg. But of course as well, I'm now actually back. This is the first video I've done since, that crazy weekend Silverstone and then also the EA Creator Race-Off. So apologies, I haven't been sort of around to respond to comments, things like that. But I'm going to try and go back through and from now on, try and respond to you guys as best as possible once again. But, just a massive thank you as well, of course, for all the insane and continued support. 65,000 subscribers on YouTube is right around the corner at the time of recording this. We're making really good progress as well to 100k on TikTok. So, it's just all going in the right direction at the moment. Of course, if you're watching this and you're not already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed. We're still gunning for 100k by the end of the year here on YouTube as well. So yeah, if you can help me get one step closer, it would be greatly appreciated. But today then, we head back to Le Castellet, of course, a track that might not be on the F1 calendar in 2023, but has often delivered good races on F1 2021 in the past. Championship-wise, why, thanks of those points we got at Austria last time round, we're now just a little bit more comfortable ahead of Williams. However, we should have been ahead of Aston Martin as well. Unfortunately, Esteban Ocon broke the game last race out there, but it does mean we're tied with Zhou Guanyu and Sebastian Vettel over on the championship. They're up now into P16 overall, so fingers crossed, over the next few races you can sort of see the performance of the car. It's very close from Alpine down to us. We're constantly trying to get more upgrades in the works there. But yeah, gonna need a new gearbox as well this weekend. Shouldn't have to take a penalty because of that. So yeah, we'll have a quick look through things and we'll jump in, I think, to the Pirelli Hotlap. Right, so here we are then with the checkpoint challenge here from Le Castellet. We've got 60 seconds. Oh, we haven't actually got 60 seconds, but the gold score this time round is 9,750 meters here in the Aston Martin Vantage F1 edition. Let's get into it then. First time I've driven, of course, anything on F1 22 in a little while, so I might be a little bit rusty in this video, but we'll have to wait and see as what happens. But yeah, we need to try and get up towards 10 kilometers as we tip it in through turn 1. Again, these challenges are all about just making sure you get through each checkpoint with enough time, because then, of course, you'll get more time added back on to the clock. So I guess we better sit down and engage some sweat. Just starting to get the back end out on this Aston Martin a little bit. It's not going to be the fastest way around the circuit, but we're pretty much at the halfway point of this challenge. I can't remember where it was we did the last. I think it was Imola, wasn't it? We did the last checkpoint challenge, and that went pretty well. I think we only got the silver medal that time around that we just missed out. Where am I going? I am rusty. Oh, I'm so rusty on F1 22. But yeah, at the final corner, though, that's going to be one lap completed. And yeah, I mean, the track over 5.5 kilometers, so we've not done too badly there. We've still got now 46 seconds on the clock. Oh, starting to just get a little bit close, though, on the time at the moment as we cross over the the bronze medal. I think we should be able to get silver, but I'm not convinced we're going to get gold again here. Oh, I chucked it way too fast through the Mistral straight. Can we just get to the next one? No, we cannot. I don't even know if that was silver there or just bronze. It's another silver medal. You know what? We'll take it. Let's get into practice then here at the French Grand Prix. I mean, F1 22 shouldn't feel too alien to me, of course, because I just did the creator event yesterday at the time of recording this. I might try and do a little video, actually, just sort of talking back over my race there. Because, yeah, I mean, it was an absolute laugh, but I got very unlucky in a couple of situations. But, yeah, really good fun. Obviously, met up with a lot of guys that I've spoke to before. And, of course, some of the FIFA guys as well. Pieface is just as hilarious in person as he is on camera. But yeah, anyway, jumping though into free practice then, feel like I'm slowly getting back into the groove nice and early, and there's no better way of doing that than with the track acclimatization lap, as I hate how wide the game always thinks you want to go on that exit. I like to hold a tight line out of there. But yeah, fingers crossed we can get a nice purple score to kickstart the weekend. And out of the final corner then, picking up a few purples towards the end of the lap. It's going to be close. We just, 10 points in it, we get the purple. Good way to start. Right, let's jump in then. Tyre wear program up next. This is going to really test how smooth I still am on F1 22. You know, of course, this game more than ever got to be smooth on the loud pedal, but so far, we're picking up some time, picking up some pace. But yeah, La Castelletto as well is a really fun track to sort of try and chuck the car around, so I've just got to be a bit careful. And out of the final corner then, just trying to see if we can clutch up towards that purple score. It is going to be very, very close. So we head up to the line, and we just about get it. 2 purples. As you might be able to tell with my voice, I'm not feeling 100% today. Jumping back onto F1 22, you know, like I said, it's been a very, very busy weekend, so, I mean, the last couple of races, especially in Austria, were absolute carnage, so maybe for the sake of my voice, today's race can maybe just be a little bit calmer. That being said, this is F1 22, I'm not going to hold my breath. I think often people forget just how high speed the Castellet is as a circuit in Formula 1, and often that tends to mean the practice programs are just a little bit easier. But up towards the line then, that's going to be 3 purple scores in a row. Perfect start to the weekend. Let's get into qualifying. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Right, well, jumping into qualifying then here for the French Grand Prix. Can we try and get back into Q2 this weekend? Been a while since I tried to do a one-shot qualifying lap on F1 20. Well, it's not even a one-shot qualifying lap, of course. I've got plenty of chances to do laps if I mess this one up. Apparently, I'm just going to put myself under immense pressure as we head back down towards turn 1. Try and thread our way through the first couple of corners. That's really where you notice the difference between this game and, of course, last year's maxed out car. You know, you just had 100% confidence that thing would stick. This thing, early days of F1 22, not quite so much, but you know what, we'll keep plugging away, and I'm sure we'll get the car to a point where we're happy with it in, you know, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months, but you never know. That's all part of the fun of these, you know, sort of road to glories, if you will. Not quite the Haas road to glory. I'm hoping that's going to return over the next couple of days as well. Certainly don't want to forget about that series early on in the game cycle as well. That was a lot of curb at the end of the back straight. Esteban Ocon, local boy, sets the fastest lap so far there, 32.8. How far away from that are we going to be? Sergio Perez now fastest down onto a 1:30.9, so Esteban Ocon's lap time not particularly fair representative then. So we head out of the final corner. I'm going to say this, and Ocon's still going to be faster than me. No, 32.3 there. Go quicker than Ocon and Bottas, but slower than K-Mag still, so a little bit better than I'd think, but still pretty happy. Well, just under 7 minutes left then on the clock, and you can see heading out for our second run. We have been relegated all the way down into P19 there. Still quicker than our teammate Felipe Drugovich, but we'll wait and see what we can do on the second lap. Need to try and find about another half a second if we want to be in the fight to make it out and into Q2. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here as we head back down towards turn 1. Fingers crossed I can get a bit of a tidier line through the first corner. A lot of curb there on the exit, but we get away with it. Car grips up nicely, and immediately you just find that extra 1/10.5 there, and you know the car will grip up a little bit more. As you know, like I said, the sun's shining now, so track temperature up, which means tyres are warmer, which means there's more grip available to us. So we try and just navigate our way out of the first sector, out onto the Mistral straight. Pretty much nailed it in terms of fuel. Quarter of a second up at the moment. Let's just keep trying to find time. Bit of a mistake as we head down in towards the final couple of corners, but try and latch up a nice tidy run out of the final turn. We are going to be 3/10 up then as we get back round towards the checkered flag, and that is going to put us P18 now ahead of Nicholas Latifi. 32 flat, there's a little bit more to be had though. Well, I'm not quite sure what's happened to bolster us all the way up to P15 there. Don't know whether people's laps have been invalidated or what. There's a huge gaggle of cars trying to head around the final corner, so I reckon the AI, look at that, just everyone's tripped over each other as we head out of the final turn. Are we going to be able to get a third lap in here as we head up towards the start-finish line? It's going to be mighty close when we get back to the flag. Only just there, we get on to a third and final qualifying lap, and this might be critical here if other cars are still improving. Or not. It's going to completely go up and, well, literally smoke their tyres smoke, to be fair. Down at turn 1. I've now got to pray, as everyone else finishes off their lap, that no one else goes quicker than me. And so far, it looks like all the AI tripping over each other, and we might just clutch up into Q2. And here we go then, having a look at the final running results there. Charles Leclerc fastest at the end of Q1, but have we made it through? Pierre Gasly a 31.9. Yes, we have there. By just 7/100ths of a second ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Zhou Guanyu, Lance Stroll, both Alfa Romeos out in Q2. Their pace has just really fallen off early on in this campaign. But can't help but feel, there was definitely a few more tenths on the table. We could be up, sort of towards Sebastian Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo levels here, if we get the lap nailed. Right, well, first lap then here in Q2. What I'm going to make sure I do is just, well, actually what we've done is we've gone out on the set of tyres that I looped it round on our Q1 run, so it's not quite the optimal set, but should mean if we get a good lap in, then of course we know we've just got a little bit of extra pace in the pocket as we head through turn 1 there. It's all about just trying to get over that curb through turn 2, and hoping, of course, that the ground effect doesn't just completely ground out there as down through the next couple of turns we go. Just definitely doesn't feel like we've quite got 100% grip, but don't feel like we're too far away either there. We're just sliding the back end just a little bit as we head out towards the Mistral straight once more. A little bit wide there, but that's okay. Certainly haven't gained anything from that one. Of course, just trying to scrub off as little speed as you can as you head out onto this straight, because of course it's so long. But any 100ths of a second really makes the difference there. Talking about 100ths of a second, we've just thrown away many of them as we go through the chicane. That horrible run that time round, just front end, never quite got it dialed in where I wanted. And yeah, about half second away already then, at the very least, from the times I want to get. Charles Leclerc sets the pace once more. Of course, not quite his home race, but not far away from Monaco is Paul Ricard. It's down now in towards the final sector of this lap. Let's just keep it nailed and tidy. This curb as well can still be lethal. Had many an incident over that curb in the past, but down in towards the final couple of corners then. Where are we going to end up here at the end of qualifying? Round the final turn we go, up towards the line. Sergio Perez goes even faster, but we are going to do a 132.6. That is useless, but still somehow quicker than Pierre. Starting our first run then here in Q3 for the French GP. Didn't quite cut it as fine as I did on my first run. Just made sure we had a little bit of time left on the board, but just got to make sure we get through that first couple of turns there, and immediately another 10th has been found there. The team reckon there was about another second just in the tyres and the delta. So we just try and keep it tidy through these first few turns. Try and keep the nose balanced, settle, everything like that, and then get on the loud pedal as early as possible as we head out onto the back straight. They're only finding a couple of tenths in the first part of the lap, but it's definitely down at this chicane and then around the second half there. I think Alex Albon has probably got to be the aim. Both of us out driving our cars at the moment to make it into Q2, and that's the line you need through the chicane there. Really get it dialed in nice and tidy. And there you can see another half a second up as we head down in towards the final sector of the lap there. Just 300ths away as Pierre Gasly's gone faster than me, so we are down to P16 at the moment. But Sebastian Vettel on a 31.8. That's a fairly sensible target that we can aim for here, as long as we don't do anything stupid in the second half of the lap. Just squeeze onto the throttle as we head now down through the final few corners of the lap there. Getting a nice tidy line once again as we head down in towards the final couple of turns. Flick it in to the final left-hander on the lap. Try and keep it over on the left-hand side, and then try and get a nice throttle out of the final corner. Look at the time we found. 1.1 up here. What a lap this has been here at the Castellet. It's P6. Get in there. Well, I have got no idea how we managed that at the end of qualifying. They're half a tenth quicker than Max Verstappen. To be honest, I thought, we might come around sort of Lando Norris pace at the end of the session. But, yeah, somehow I've been P6 at the end of Q2 there. Don't think I've got any tyres, though, for Q3, so we might not be able to do a lap. But we'll jump into it anyway. Of course, Drogovic made Q3 back at Albert Park, but we've done it here at Le Castellet. We've got good pace. There we go, then. We have been given one final set of soft compound tyres, so we're going to have to wait for everyone else to do their runs, and we're going to get one last-ditch attempt. Can we go any higher than P10? And to be honest, as we get ready to start our lap, I'm not convinced we're going to go any higher than 10th place there, because Daniel Ricciardo has set a 1:31.2. But you know what? We're going to try it anyway. Sweat mode is definitely going to need to be engaged here if I want to try and get a good lap out of our final run in Castellet. But we're going to give it our all still. We may as well go out for a glory run, if anything else. Pretty tidy throughout the first half of the lap. Of course, got no delta now to compare myself against, but I feel like we're running a little bit faster than we did in the other lap. But, I mean, the second half of that lap was absolute chef's kiss. So not convinced I'm going to be able to find anything more there. As, again, you can just see a little bit of understeer kicks in. So try and keep the car planted. Where are we going to be in comparison to Magnussen? Well, only a 10th away. You know what? Let's just keep this up. It's not over until you reach the checkered flag. Out of the final corner then. Not the best second half of the lap, but we'll see where we are anyway. It is 31.3. It's P9. It was well worth it. Get in there. Well, there we go then. Qualifying done and dusted here at Le Castellet, and it is Charles Leclerc on the pole ahead of both Mercedes once more there. But yeah, very good job that we did do the lap, because we've out-qualified current world champion Max Verstappen there. It's going to be P9 on the grid here, ready for the French GP. I'm really hyped. Let's get into it. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Welcome along then to France, one of the great racing meccas, host of the world-famous Tour de France, and widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing in the late 1800s. How far we've come since then, as this year's race gets underway. It's time, of course, for the French Grand Prix. A lap of Paul Ricard then consists of 15 corners and a total length of around 3.6 miles. Drivers will need to position their cars carefully on the exit of the flat-out turn 10, ready for the double apex right-hander at 11. Watch out for potential overtaking action at the end of the start-finish straight and into the heavy braking zone of turn 8. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, Kevin Magnussen and Ocon, Mr. Monaco, Verstappen, Norris and Fernando Alonso, Vettel, Mick Schumacher, Alex Albon and Gasly, Tsunoda, Joe, Daniel Ricciardo. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Lance Stroll. Drogovic, Bottas, Latifi, and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Natalie Pinkham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It'll keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, this is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix, so let's give them a race worth watching.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for the French Grand Prix, and yeah, starting now P7 by virtue of Daniel Ricciardo and George Russell with some grid penalties, so we've got a really good shot of trying to get more points on the board here today. In terms of strategy at Le Castellet, you can often try, I think medium hard is the way to go actually around this circuit. But looks again like we might see some changeable conditions there. We're meant to have a small splattering of rain later on in the Grand Prix, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I mean, currently it looks like beautiful blue skies around the French GP circuit. But let's get into it then. Round 12 of the year, already way over the halfway point. And yeah, our best qualifying position ever on F1 22, not only for me, but also for the team.
Temperature on this lap, please. We're loading the gears, so let's go through them all if you can.
Let's just make sure we get everything warm. We need a good start here as Lando Norris starting directly behind me. Opted for the hards, that's quite brave. Ready on the grid though here for the French Grand Prix. Can we try and get a nice clean getaway as 5 red lights and a no hold whatsoever there. And I'm not going to respond to that one very well as we try and put the power down towards turn 1. Max Verstappen, I don't think we were going to defend from him for very long anyway. Straight up the inside as we head down in towards the first corner. But look at that, we're going to try and fight it back though. Through turn 1, then launch it over the curbs. Verstappen gives me the room, and in the end there we haven't lost, haven't gained anything as Fernando Alonso on the offensive. But look at Carlos Sainz up the inside of his teammate there. Looks like Hamilton has taken the lead of the Grand Prix, so Mercedes definitely starting to get their mojo back there, as you can just see the red proximity arrow as Verstappen tries to get back up the inside there, but out onto the Mistral straight for the first time in this Grand Prix. Are we going to see the Red Bull and the Alpine fly past me here as we head down the straight? Here comes the Red Bull of Max Verstappen there to the inside. Look how quick that thing is. They were going to try and force him a little bit defensive. Might be able to get him down around the outside on the brakes. And very rare that Verstappen will give you the room around the outside, but he's done it that time round. And we do hang on again to P7 here, but like I said, not really one we should be battling with all too much today. As again, Verstappen on the exit of the corner there, one of the fastest cars now in Formula 1, rips around the outside of us, so we have lost the 1 place off the start here in the French Grand Prix, but Fernando Alonso not too far behind either here as we head out through the final couple of turns. You know, really I think early on it's just going to be about trying to hang on to places. France as well, of course, is pretty much just all about making sure you stick within the DRS. Oh, of the car in front there is Alonso, a very opportunistic move, or giving the room right at the last moment there. Wasn't expecting him to go for that one, but he flung the nose up the inside as we went down in towards the final couple of turns. Hamilton leads the way though at the end of lap 1 with Charles Leclerc in hot pursuit. Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, and then Magnussen, Ocon, Verstappen, myself, Alonso and Vettel ran out the top 10 at the end of lap 1 there. So a few movers, but nothing too crazy out of there as here comes Alonso once more. Why is he trying to make a move to the outside there? We'll live to fight another day. Or ran it a little bit wide there. Alonso again though on the offensive, but can't quite flick it up the inside. So we're just going to live to fight another day now. Live and hang on to these positions early on. You know, I don't want to cause an almighty train behind us and then potentially just lose tons of positions later on in the afternoon. But, you know, we have got to fight when we've got the pace. I think this is about to get very painful for us as we head down the Mistral straight there. You can see Verstappen thinking about making a move on Esteban Ocon, but actually we've just about got enough this time round to hang on ahead of Alonso. He thought about it again at the inside, but we held pretty firm there and made sure he couldn't go for the move. So 8/10 now clear of the Alpine, but yeah, still I think we're going to be focusing on our mirrors early on there, as you can just see everyone behind still in this train. Oh, here we go, Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen disputing now P5 in this Grand Prix. And with a bit of luck, they can help us just get a little bit closer, as that was, again, a lot of curb through that chicane. But yeah, it's all about just focusing on the battles here at the Castellet. But yeah, at the moment, Alonso, he's not able to apply as much pressure as I thought he would. We have really got some pace here. So here we go, Verstappen and K-Mag now disputing over P6, and we might just get, well, definitely going to be back in the DRS range now there as we cross over in towards the detection point. There we go. Half a second away from Max Verstappen, as surely the Haas is going to have very little he can do to defend himself from the Red Bull here, but two of Formula 1's feistiest drivers going at it. Who's going to come out on top this time around? Will it be K-Mag? Will it be Max? I think K-Mag, rather surprisingly actually, decides it's not a battle worth having there, as the Haas all over the show. Has he picked up some damage? I don't think so, just really struggling. Now we're back inside the DRS though. This is good. So I don't think Kevin Magnussen's got the DRS off Verstappen in front of him. Don't really want to try and apply too much pressure to K-Mag, because I know he is generally still quicker than me. So I think if we can just use him as sort of a, well, I guess a front gunner, really I should say. He's not going to be a rear gunner here, he's going to be just in front of me, and we'll kind of use him to drag ourselves along. I feel the next few laps here are just going to be about maintaining pace, not doing anything stupid, and just trying to keep it clean and tidy. I must admit, it is super weird here as we cross over 1/3 distance. You know, every fibre of my being is saying, you know, just use the battery, get past Magnussen, but it just doesn't make sense at this stage of the day. You know, we have to be sensible early on in F1 22. Luckily, however, it does seem like there's a little battle pack of us that have opened up, I think, back to 7 P11. So even if we did go for a move on K-Mag and then we just kind of got swamped by all these guys, then we wouldn't be far away still from the points. But, you know, at the moment, still, early on in the game, you just can't take any risks when there's a solid chance. You know, 4 points could very likely be the difference between us and Aston Martin come the end of the year. Oh, that's what I'm talking about as well. You just can't risk anything. Don't do anything stupid. Well, Mark definitely wants me to try and start looking for moves there, as Fernando Alonso behind. There are about 4 corners every lap. You just see the red proximity arrow as he wants to send it on me. Definitely, you know, Fernando, 2-time Formula 1 World Champions, looking at the 2-1-2 Motorsport car in front of him. Right, we're going to do whatever K-Mag doesn't do, I think, at the end of this one. But yeah, Alonso probably there going, I don't want to be stuck behind this guy all afternoon. And to be fair, who could blame the Spaniard? But at least K-Mag's been really consistent. I think every lap so far through most of this Grand Prix has been, you know, between a 35 flat and a 35.5, so we'll take that sort of consistency as well, just to sort of keep us balanced. As do I now then go for an attempt on Kevin Magnussen here? We may as well try it at least once early on in this Grand Prix there, as we're almost at the halfway stage here in France. We can see K-Mag using a bit of battery as well there. This is not what I needed, as we're going to go side by side with the Haas there, get it slowed down around the outside, get it parked on the apex of the second part of the corner. Oh, and there we go. We are now up at a P7 then. Mark pretty happy with that, but yeah, I think we are probably going to have to box now. Can feel these tyres starting to give up. Head down into the pit lane then, just make sure we keep it nice and tidy. We've got a couple of other cars in. Oh, only just getting it slowed down there, but luckily Kevin Magnussen into the pits behind us. So we need to get a nice, clean, tidy stop here then, as Hamilton, Verstappen, and I'm guessing Charles Leclerc into the pit lane there. Verstappen's done pretty well early on in this race to recover from a bit further down the order. Make sure we get it nailed. Oh, only good that time. That's the first one in a while, but let's just hope we can get a nice, clean, tidy stop. 2.8. No, it's not. No. Okay, apparently it was me then, as that's definitely an illegal pit lane exit on Kevin Magnussen. On Fernando Alonso. Whoa! What was that? Back end just broke free as I tried to get on the throttle there, and fair play to all of those cars for avoiding it. I, of course, get a warning for a warning for crossing over the pit exit line, but yeah, cold rubber now, and now we've really got our work cut out. That was odd, and I completely forgot about that as well there. The rain meant to still be arriving at some point today, so how could that spice things up even more? As we've now got to try and push, make sure we get back within 1 second of Albon and Gasly. So there we go, everyone else into the pits at the end of lap 13 there, and we're going to get overcut by a lot of people. Every time I hear Felipe in the pits, I just think of Felipe Massa, man. You know, brilliant F1 driver on his day, and probably deserved more in his Formula 1 career. But the new Brazilian Felipe now, where are we going to re-emerge in this Grand Prix? We're way down the order. That has cost us so much there. It's P16 now. This is turned into a disaster. We've got to keep pushing though, you never know what the rain could do. Well, we got one more into the pits then at the end of lap 15. I'm guessing that's Lando Norris, who of course has gone the other way with strategy, so at least we're back up one. Sorry, Daniel Ricciardo even.
Okay, let's try and overtake them now.
Don't know 100%. Oh yeah, of course he had penalties, so he started way out of position for the Grand Prix as well there. But yeah, now we're floating right on the 1 second mark of Alex Albon, but trying to get back close. I've used so much battery over the last few laps there, just hoping once we can get back within the range, which might be now. Ooh, that was a lot of curb and a lot of oversteer as well on the exit. Oh, it's going to be close, but again, oh, there we go. I think we've just done it this time around. Yes, we have. So back within the DRS range of Alex Albon. This race is not over just yet. If we can get past these guys back into P12, there's still that gaggle of cars there. Let's look at this Albon now. Trying to have a look past Pierre Gasly. Certainly not been the home race Pierre was hoping for so far. Down in P13, but we got to try and stick close. Oh, there we go. Must have been both McLarens that were on that strategy then, because now we should be back up there for into P14 of the Grand Prix. We just need to be really careful now with our DRS over the next few laps then. No, we won't. Lando Norris has actually come out clean in front, just up the road there, so yeah, still P15 for now. We've still got a mountain to climb, but it really does depend on how that weather affects things. Do we gamble it like we did in the Haas Road to Glory, and if everyone else boxes, we stay out late towards the end? Well, here we go, Albon, Gasly again, down the back straight. That's not the best line from me. Behind him, just too busy watching the battle there, but we're going to try and get the run on the exit over Alex Albon there, try and give him a bit of a squeeze as well. Need to make sure we're ahead of the Williams at this stage of the day. Team's still saying rain 10 to 15 minutes, so it might come right towards the end then here in France, but now sat behind Pierre Gasly, homeboy. You know, there's a bit of anger driving me forward at the moment, so we've got to try and make sure we control that throughout the second half of this GP, but I want to try and make moves on cars if we can. There are lots to another 2.5 seconds up the road, so we've got to be strategic with these overtakes, because you can just see how much Pierre struggles in that AlphaTauri through the final couple of turns. And I want to try and make sure we get closer to the cars in front making the moves rather than losing a lot of time battling. So now we're going to see if we can get a run on Pierre Gasly there. Don't really want to spend our time. You know, we'd rather let Albon and Gasly dispute this rather than letting myself get involved there, as Pierre's going to go defensive. We do what we tried to do to K-Mag earlier on. And look at that, Pierre Gasly not confident on the brakes. Up now back to P13. Fernando Alonso 2 seconds up the road. Lando Norris 4 seconds up the road. And then it's one of the Aston Martins now. It must be Sebastian Vettel. Sat in P10. That is so frustrating. But yellow flag's out. Someone's got issues. I think it's Alonso. Fernando Alonso pulling over to the inside here. And that might... Yeah, that's definitely Alonso out of the French Grand Prix there. Not what Alpine want at their home event there. And Fernando Alonso out of the Grand Prix. Sadly for me, no safety car, because rebunching up the field could have really done us a whole lot of good. Got to keep pushing though. Seb now down to P11. So Lando Norris now the man on the cusp of, well, on the points, but yeah, luckily he's ahead of the Aston Martin. Well, 7 laps to go then here from the Castellet, and we are now starting to close down the gap to Sebastian Vettel. Still trying to have to manage the ERS in the later stages of this Grand Prix. Feel like I finally learned how to attack that curb as well. But Mick Schumacher now down to P10, so if they all keep battling, maybe there's more still to be had. A boy can dream. 5 minutes until the rain, so it is going to come right at the end of this Grand Prix, and unless it absolutely hammers it down, don't think it's really going to make much difference here, but we'll wait and see still. Captain Seb's still going the right way, but yeah, unless he really starts to struggle if that rain does appear, don't really think we're going to have enough. George Russell into the pits. Why has he done that late on in the afternoon? Then no idea what's going on down at Mercedes, but now that really means it's critical between myself and Sebastian Vettel there, because this could be for a very, very crucial point in the championship. Come on, we have to keep pushing. They have to Seb down to 3.5. It's not coming down by a huge amount each lap, but I've also got to be careful about the fuel, because currently we're sat completely even on it, so we have definitely burnt through a lot today, as we've also got Daniel Ricciardo trying to close up behind. That's how hard we're pushing at the moment. We are throwing everything at this late on. 3 laps to go, gap still coming down, but I don't think it's going to be by enough towards the end of this GP. Like I said, the only thing we can really hope for now is either an issue for someone inside the top 10, or of course that the rain really holds them back. But Yeah, at the moment though, still just trying to drive the car completely on the limit there. George Russell, new fast lap of the day, but that's going to be very much an irrelevant piece of information. And that sadly is going to put pay to any possible chance at a point late on in the afternoon. Then 3-second time penalty in the final couple of laps here, just pushing so hard right towards the end of the Grand Prix there, you know, sort of leaning on the curbs, leaning around the circuit. There we go, the rain has now arrived. Let's just see if anything crazy happens in these final 2 laps. I want to believe. And on to the final lap then here from Le Castellet, unfortunately. Yeah, the rain isn't going to help me, it's just going to hinder us more than the AI, to be honest. So I think everything here in the second half of this afternoon is really just trying to fight against just scoring more points on F1 22. Yeah, you can just see, I mean, I don't know how Bottas and Ricciardo have taken that much time out of me through that first few corners, but somehow they have there, as you can just see now, trying to fight the rear end. I think these hard tyres are completely gone as well there, as we head out onto the Mistral straight for the final time here. We had so much pace this weekend. Felt definitely like points were going to be on the table there. You know, we could have been sort of around those Haas cars and Lando Norris late on in the day, but that's the way it goes sometimes. You know, got to remember, you know, like I said, first race back on the game in a few days. To be honest, the pace has been pretty good. It's just those few little mistakes that have really cost us there. Charles Leclerc just hangs on for yet another race victory on F1 22. They're after Mercedes heroics last weekend out to end the Ferrari reign of terror on F1 22 there. Hamilton P2 ahead of Carlos Sainz in 3rd there. It looks like Red Bull are going to be 4th and 5th when all is said and done. I think we're going to end up P14 here behind Pierre Gasly as well right at the end of this GP. But Drogovic, another terrible weekend out for him. Just renewed his contract on F1 22 and maybe now rather wishing I hadn't. But through the final couple of corners, yeah, second half of this race I don't think was ever really going to go our way, sadly. But up to the line, it's more experience on the books and we have survived. Here in France, it's only P11 on the road, but P14.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So another excellent win from Ferrari. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Charles Leclerc, currently leading the championship standings, extends his lead even further with this result. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Natalie Pinkham, come on, who do you pick?
That's got to be the Flying Finn. Wait, how many Flying Finns have we got now? Anyway, I'm talking about Bottas this time. Just great raw speed and a good job in the traffic as well.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the French Grand Prix there. Charles Leclerc walks away with yet another dub, but only 3/10 clear of Hamilton at the checkered flag there. The top four finished as they started here in Le Castellet. Verstappen and Lando Norris did both pretty good recovery drives there ahead of Ocon, Magnussen, Schumacher, and yes, Sebastian Vettel picking up yet another point for Aston Martin there. We don't talk about our penalty at the end of the day, but it was P13. We still did just about edge out Pierre Gasly there when all is said and done. Fernando Alonso, the only man not to make it to the checkered flag. And yeah, George Russell, I'm sure, gutted on the 2-stop. But he had a pretty good recovery drive, but it all was for nothing there. Championship-wise, though, Charles now, gap opens back up to 42 points ahead of Carlos Sainz. There, Hamilton nestled comfortably now in P3 ahead of both Red Bulls and his teammate. Ocon jumps K-Mag, Lando Norris jumps Fernando Alonso, and then, yeah, Sebastian Vettel leapfrogs his way back past Zhou Guanyu and myself there, as well as Albon and Latifi, both re-jumping Drogovic somehow. Constructors-wise, Red Bull now 1 point ahead of Mercedes once more, though, after George's antics this weekend, but no other movement further around the order there. Just means it's now 9 points to Alpha Tauri, 6 to Aston Martin, 3 to us, and none for Williams. So an 8th place could be absolutely critical between us 4 teams later on in the year. But thank you all so much for watching this video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we will be back very, very soon with more F1 22 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.